Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going through all of last week's Next Fest data, as well as showing off the results of it, and going into some of the improvements that I've made in the meantime. So obviously this is week 3, as you can see, this is the Steam Next Fest weeks. There was lots of bugs throughout the week that I fixed and stuff like that. And overall, the general Steam Next Fest, I'll start off by saying, I think it went pretty well, but not for the reason of, it produced lots of wish lists. It didn't do that. But what it did do is give me a lot of insight into what I need to do when the game fully releases. So while we're here, I'll just go into where all of this came from. So when the week started, I've been really struggling with the playtesting. I think one thing that I didn't think about would be this difficult with game development, especially indie game development, is finding playtesters. So I've asked my friends to play test before, but they need to have time to do that. And a lot of the time it might not work out, or, the time to match up, so they won't do it. But then saying that, the only person who's really playtesting my game is myself and 2 other people currently. However, compared to having nobody playtest your game, it is still a big improvement. So before this week, only I had playtested the game. So we'll start off with that. And I know a lot of people say, don't release the Steam Next Fest if you've not playtested with lots of people. But I've got a strict plan of this game it will be finished in July, because I have 1 more year left of uni and I will be moving on to the next game by then. Anyway, just to show what is going on with this. So Monday was obviously YouTube. It was to do with playtesting and just giving a few bug fixes. Then I had, from my own playtest, a lot of bugs that I managed to fix to make sure the game was as playable as possible. These are all notes from external playtests. So then it came to Thursday, and I was watching Bite Me Games doing their Let's Play and Roast Your Steam Next Fest demos. And they are amazing there. And they went through and played the game. They gave it lots of very, very important feedback. So I'll go into what they actually said about it. And so did a lot of people in the comments. Everyone was so nice. And then from that, I made a list, which is what you can see here. Now, from this list, I then went and fixed on the main things first. There's still some stuff I'm still working on, but I will go into what that is now. So, as you can see, there's a few things that are immediately different. So the game previously had a bit of an issue with direction. So in terms of where the player needs to go. Originally, there was nothing to really say other than, basically, I was hoping the player would see a path and be like, I'm going to get close to these buildings. And then when you get close to the buildings, if I, I'm just going to mute myself because otherwise it's going to hurt. So if I start up the game, what is going to happen right now is, let's say I'm a new player. I see this, I'm like, okay, so I understand that in 4 waves, the onslaught's going to grow. I thought that was a useful thing to add in to, give the player something to look forward to. And then this is one of those important changes of the entire game. And that is adding icons above each of the interactables. I've not done it yet for the towers, but that will obviously come soon. So I did some little icons in Adobe Illustrator and then imported them in as these little hovering icons. So if I go over to them, I'm like, okay, at least it then gives the player some kind of reason to go, I think these things might be interactable. Let's go over. There's a need to interact on it. They must be interactable. Interaction happens. We're in a weird mode, so the UI is a bit messed up, but that's not how it is anyway. So that was a very, very important decision to make. Again, this would have only happened because of the feedback I got from Bite Me Games and from Haze Dev, which is really amazing. I'm so glad. For me, although which I'm coming to soon, although the game did not perform super successfully, just doing the Steam Next Fest for the sake of being able to have playtests in specifically this, in the Bite Me Games Let's Play Roast Your Next Fest demos, it would have to be a demo for them to playtest it. If I didn't have that, the game would have been in a much worse state than it will be when it releases. So, saying that, how did the game perform? So if I go to here, this is all the statistics in terms of what happened over it. 41 players, 58 extra wish lists, and 4 conversions from played into wish lists. And this is the graph of how that went. So, how do I feel about this? I think I'm pretty happy with this, to be honest. I was expecting 100 to 200 wish lists. Didn't get that. But considering what Bite Me Games said about it, I understand why. And I would much rather have that happen now than on release. So I'm more than okay with that. This is now what the game currently sits at. We're at 111 wish lists. It's not great, but it is significantly better than it was with Powerful. So it's still, as long as you're making improvements to life, it's never that big of a failure. Going into then officially, 61 people have played the game. And I really want to go into this statistic. If we look at the median time play, the week prior to Steam Next Fest, this was about, prior to Bite Me Games feedback and me implementing the feedback and pushing it to the demo, the median time, or the most amount of time, most percentage of users was in this mark of 10 minutes played. It was sitting at about 58%. Since the updates have come out, this has obviously gone and spread out a lot more, which means the implementation of the new feedback worked, and people are actually staying longer to play the game, which is fantastic news considering that the game is going to be releasing in just over 1 month. So this is all statistics. If you just hear statistics, then here they are. I'm going to go into a few more things as well. So UI was a big thing. Previously, the UI looked very, it didn't have wrap boxes and it wasn't consistent. One of the main issues with the demo was that the UI was an issue. It was a huge issue. So if I go into Battle Phase UI, what I have now done with said UI is make it smaller to give more room for the player to see, and put it in these boxes, which are basically, it means all the size will be consistent, as you can see down here, the size boxes, wrap boxes, vertical boxes, all of it. It just means the consistency. The guy said it's better to be consistently shit than just shit, basically. And I'm really happy with this because now this is a big step forward, I think. And I don't know if I would have done it if I wasn't told, to be honest, because from the developer side point of view, as me, the developer, I'd say I didn't really see an issue with it. But obviously, I see it now that it's being pointed out. Now, following on for that, it was not just Bite Me Games that gave me feedback that was very useful. In my Discord, one of my friends, another indie games YouTuber, MJ Mortron, he also played the game. He played through the entirety of the game as well, which was very, very useful. And he gave me this brilliant feedback. I think, as you can see, 6 minutes long worth of feedback, which is means so much to me. And so I wrote down everything he said, and I've been getting to work with that. This bug you can see right here. Oh my God, I thought I'd fixed this. And again, this would not have probably come up in my own playtest because I'm like, okay, it's already been fixed before. We then moved down and this has all been pretty much fixed. And we look at actually what was changed. All of this is, I forgot, I haven't even talked about this. The game is now first person. So one other bit of feedback was that the third person camera was a bit janky. You could only move left and right, which I thought I didn't know it was an issue, but it is. Whereas now you can look all around. And the other issue was that I felt that the third person actually makes the game less immersive. And with first person, I feel like I'm actually in the game rather than controlling, say, a unit, if you know what I mean. So this is a big change. Obviously, it still works with like all of the stuff, but say if I start the waves and we go over there and we start the wave, this feels so much better than the third person. And another big reason, as an indie game dev, I don't know how to. I looked into it, the animating a third person character properly, and it isn't worth the time it's going to cost when I could just do this instead. And besides, again, with the immersive thing, this feels so much better than what it was previously, and it still works. So say if I grow, this is the growth mechanics, so I can walk over to them, and then I do my different attack, which will happen in 1 second. This feels a lot more impactful. It feels like I'm actually playing rather than controlling a character, if you know what I mean. So, aside from all of that, that is most of the feedback. That is how Steam Next Fest went. Very happy with it. Really, really proud of how it's all come together. It feels like it has come together now, and I'm in the final push to get this game finished and begin on the next one, which I will not reveal obviously now because I don't know what it is, but it will be dinosaur related is all I know. So anyway, aside from that, thank you all very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will likely be a further devlog of the final improvements to the game before this game is ready to publish fully. So yeah, hope you have a very nice rest of your day, and I will see you later.